Hey guys, Brandon here with Exotic Cars 19, making another video in the Raptor, which in its own happens a little bit too seldomly. I bought this truck back in, I think it was July 5th, and it's now coming towards the end of January, and this is only the third video I make, but it's an appropriate video. It's a video that's going to lead into, kind of segue into more videos with the Raptor, so I'm excited about it. But without any further ado, I mean, you guys just based off the title will know that this is about a cold air intake. So let me just backtrack to, let's say 2 weeks ago, before I bought the cold air intake. I know a cold air intake was a pretty popular thing to do for performance cars and trucks, but to be honest, I kind of put it off because, I mean, once I put the Corsa exhaust on this truck, I thought I was just really happy and just about done with it. But through a recommendation of a friend who actually just picked up a 2019 Raptor and immediately got a cold air intake and some other good stuff, I'll be making a video with that truck soon. But anyway, he recommended it. He said just at least look into it, and I did. And within 5 minutes of looking up all the benefits that a cold air intake will bring to your vehicle, it was in my Amazon shopping cart, and so that's that. But I didn't have it installed until yesterday, so I wanted to do like a full-on video yesterday. Well, I have some clips here and there, but for the most part, ran out of daylight, so I figured I'd just kind of give you guys the impressions today. That's just only been, I've literally only driven it once. This is my second drive with it now, kind of seeing what it is. But because this is only the third video with this truck, maybe some of my subscribers aren't even familiar with it. So I'll just do a quick run through here. This is a 2014 SVT Raptor, so it's the last year of the 6.2 liter V8. So I had to get the cold air intake specific for this one, specific for the Gen 1 with the 6.2s. So of course, when you're gonna get your cold air intake, just make sure it's specific to yours. And if you're gonna buy it on Amazon, the cool thing with that is you could actually set up a virtual garage on Amazon. So I have my GT350 and my SVT Raptor. And so if you ever add any parts later, it tells you what it's compatible with. They'll say yes or no. So it's kind of cool. If you guys happen to have a Gen 1 with a 6.2, I'll put a link in the description to where you guys can pick up a cold air intake. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get into it. So this is a 14 SVT Raptor. Like I said, first thing I did to it, I thought it sounded It sounded like a V8, sure, but it's not like a work truck because that engine was for the most part a work engine out of the F250, the combustion engine option versus diesel. But I wanted to open up some more, so first thing I did was I let it exhale better. So I got a Corsa Extreme exhaust, which sounds fantastic. Sounds really, really good, actually, like obnoxious. But so I let it exhale better that way. It has no resonator, so it's really nice. But for the longest time, I put off the inhaling part. So that's what the cold air intake's all about. Cold air intake, this one specifically, the K&N one that I got, claims to add 20 horsepower. I didn't necessarily get it to add horsepower, more so because of all the benefits collectively. But yeah, if it adds power, then great. But all the reviews on Amazon on this one too say it helps with linear throttle response. I've only had, like I said, my second drive here. It's very much so true. Where on the top end of the revs before, where it would start to kind of feel lax, all the way through the shifts, the thing's got the torque consistent. So I think it just evens it out, adds a little bit more torque, adds just a hair more power. 20 probably crank, honestly. But I mean, I'm not trying to get this thing bumped up in horsepower. I mean, between the exhaust and the cold air intake, I'm sure it's gone up some, but it's more so just how it feels through the throttle. Just really responsive and really nice. I guess since I started already naming some of the benefits with this thing, of being throttle response and power, one of them, let's just run through all the benefits that you could expect was across the board with the cold air intake and maybe decide if it's right for you for your car or truck. So yeah, that's a big one, throttle response, some performance, not drastic difference, but that goes along with no cons to it. You get a little bit better performance without any hinder in reliability. In fact, your engine life actually goes up. It's just more efficient. It's just an easier way for the truck to breathe, I guess. But yeah, engine life in general should just go up when you get a cold air intake, so that's really nice. Here's a funny one. Both an exhaust and a cold air intake separately, and of course more so together, should improve your fuel economy. Well, I certainly didn't get, or let's just go with I did get both to save some polar bears because I'm a good person. But the funny thing is it works backwards, because as soon as, let's just go for the exhaust here, as soon as I put the exhaust on there, I'm like, okay, cool, I should free it up some, it should be more efficient. When I heard the exhaust sound, my right foot just got heavier. I just wanted to mat it all the time. So of course my fuel economy got worse, but not because of the hardware, just because I'm a child. The same thing should probably happen with the cold air intake. In fact, it says it should improve fuel economy. But here's the weird thing. An exhaust is going to improve the sound of the exhaust, obviously. the cold air intake just sucks in so much sound that if I roll down my window here, because I'm right next to the filter, you hear like this kind of sucking sound. And overall, the engine, the V8, just has this deep growl to it that has not been there before. If you only did a cold air intake and not an exhaust, you will tell even a bigger difference. But because the exhaust is so loud, they actually go back and forth and play nicely quite a bit. So that's kind of cool. Another benefit you could expect when you get a cold air intake is, along with, you know, longer engine life, just the life of the air filter itself. You don't need to clean it until, well, this one specifically from K&N, they say you don't need to clean it until 100,000 miles. And even then, that's all you have to do is clean it. You don't have to really change it out. And when installed correctly, K&N actually has a limited 1 million mile warranty on their cold air intake. So that's pretty cool with their filter and all. So yeah, I mean, that's quite a bit of benefit. So all collectively, when I read through that, I thought there's really no cons to it. Might as well do it. So, well, now that I'm approaching underpass, even on that last blip there, I was in a corner, so I was holding steady, and right when it straightened up, I gave that blip. That felt more torquey than before. Yeah, I think throttle response, because I kind of shoved it all the way at the end there, throttle response is improved. I mean, this, like I said, I probably have less than 40 miles on it, no, 50 miles or so, since the cold air intake has been thrown in there, but I am quite happy with it. Let's go ahead and spin it around here, do it again. That definitely has a bit more torque. I mean, 20 horsepower, probably crank, like I said, but I think just that responsiveness though. In fact, for one example, I'll say yesterday, right when the install was complete, and I was leaving my friend's shop, I tried, and he was recording me. I threw it on my Instagram at ExoticCars19, but I tried to show what it sounds like from the outside, so I had to like roll slowly and then floor it, and it just kept wanting to spin the tires, whereas usually it might chirp once and then hook up. It's got enough torque now that maybe there's just cold tires too, but it just seems like it just wants to hop more on the dig initially. Like, it just has more torque now, which would be really, really fun. I mean, great throttle response and a little bit more power and torque is great and all for the road, but I'm really excited about how that's going to feel off-road. Just because whenever you know, in rear-wheel drive, traction off, you want to like throw the back end out, that quick throttle response is going to help tremendously, just kind of snap it back and forth. So that's going to be really fun. But yeah, so I guess where does the truck sit now? First thing I did to it was add I had my friend Manny, same guy who did the cold air intake, he did a quick detail on it, ceramic coating and all that stuff, because I knew it was going to be kind of abused. Then we went ahead and put the American flag vinyl on there, put a short antenna, because without that it looked like a RC car. And then of course the exhaust, and now the cold air intake. And to be honest, I don't really know what else there is to do. Maybe eventually I put some more lighting on it, just because if I'm hitting some trails or whatever at night, more lighting's cool. But even the stock lights here on the high beams are pretty darn bright. But that's kind of where the 2014 SVT Raptor sits now. Now that this truck feels complete to me, I don't really know what else I want to do with it. More uploads planned. Some point of view driving video, probably primarily point of view drive off-road too. That'd be kind of fun. But maybe I'll just do like an overall review on it, because I haven't really done that yet. And I'll also be making an overall review with my friend's 2019, and then because they're the two different generations, Gen 1, Gen 2 Raptors, maybe we'll do like a comparison. But yeah, that'll just about do it for this video. I think I'm going to end it with a nice little pull here, and I'll see you guys later.